For the first time in program history, the Fighting Hawks are going dancing. Thanks for joining us this week for a special March Madness edition of UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert. Last week, Brian Jones and the North Dakota men's basketball team defeated Portland State to clinch the Big Sky regular season championship, their first conference regular season title in 22 years. But while that win was sweet and guaranteed North Dakota a spot in the prestigious NIT, 3 more wins at the Big Sky Conference Tournament in Reno would give them an even sweeter prize. Let's rewind back to last Thursday inside the Reno Events Center. Top-seeded UND taking on number 8 Portland State in the quarterfinals. And this one wasn't close. The Fighting Hawks hit 12 of their first 14 shots to pull ahead by 16 midway through the first half, and the lead would never dip back into single digits. North Dakota would stretch their advantage to as many as 30 before all was said and done. They would finish off the Vikings 95-72 to advance to their 4th semifinal in the last 5 years. Corey Baldwin would lead the way with 18 points on 6 of 7 shooting from behind the arc. He'd also pull down 10 rebounds for his first collegiate double-double. 5 of their Hawks would score in double figures as the team would shoot 56% from the floor, 55% from 3, and 95% from the line. The win was the 20th of the season for UND, the first time in the D1 era that North Dakota has reached that mark. Friday night's semifinal against the 4-seed Idaho was a much tougher proposition. UND started off equally as hot from the floor as they had the previous night, hitting 9 of their first 13 shot attempts to build a 26-9 advantage. But unlike in the quarterfinals, UND was not allowed to coast to victory this time around, as the Vandals would chip away to get within 6 at the half, only to explode on a 16-2 run to pull in front early in the second. UND would roar back with an 18-1 run of their own to regain the lead at 63-52, but again, the Vandals had an answer. An 11-0 spurt tied things back up at 63 with 2:08 remaining, but it was all UND from there on out. After 2 free throws, Baldwin would come up huge again with this corner triple with 1:04 left to put North Dakota up 68-63, and a few defensive stops later, North Dakota would find themselves in the Big Sky title game for the second time in program history. Baldwin and Gino Crandall would each go for 16 points, while Quentin Hooker and Connor Avance would finish with 13 apiece. But beyond the stats, UND's self-confidence and determination seemed to make the difference in this one.
We knew we were going to win. We didn't quit. We told each other we've been down before, so just keep fighting, and we're going to come out with the win.
This is where we've worked to get all year, and after coming up short last year, we really, as a group, just decided that we can't let that happen again. And credit to our coaching staff for everything they've done to put us in the position that we're in. And, it's just, we're locked in, ready to go tomorrow. We can feel it in the locker room. So.
This is what we work for. This is what these kids have been training for. It's going to be a special night. It's not easy to get here. We've had a lot of luck along the way, but these kids work hard every day. They're great kids to coach, and this is why we're here. This is why we're here. We got a chance to get to the dance. I mean, that's what the beauty of this level is. You get one shot. The only thing we're talking about is finishing the race. We've come this far. We got to find a way to finish.
Waiting in the Big Sky title game, 3rd-seeded Weber State, the team that had ended UND's tournament run all 3 previous times the Fighting Hawks had made it to the Big Sky Conference Tournament. North Dakota was 2-0 against the Wildcats this season, but it was Weber who got off to the strong start in this one. Jeremy Singlin and company would lead by as many as 10 in the first half, only to see UND pull ahead in the closing minutes before halftime to take a 46-42 lead into the break. After a back-and-forth start to the second, Weber would use a 19-5 run to regain their advantage, pulling ahead by as many as 11 with 7:26 remaining. North Dakota would hang close, but they would find themselves down 6 with 51 seconds left. After 2 Gino Crandall free throws made it a 4-point game, Quentin Hooker would hit a huge layup with 38 seconds left to pull UND back within 2. North Dakota would then get a big stop on the defensive end, and it would be up to Gino Crandall to conjure up the heroics, and the sophomore would come through. 7 seconds to go. He hits this floater to tie the game at 81. Weber would get an opportunity to win it at the end, but Cortez Seals would come up with the goods, swatting aside the 3-point attempt to force overtime. As one would expect, Quentin Hooker would once again come up big when it would matter most. He'd score 6 of his game-high 28 points in that extra frame, and that effort, combined with a team effort of 6 for 6 from the free throw line and timely stops on defense, would give North Dakota the 93-89 victory, sending the Fighting Hawks to the big dance for the first time in program history.
The motto of the whole year was, finish the race. And that's what we did tonight. And honestly, it was just great to see this finally happen for this program and, the community back home and who's watching. And honestly, we're just thankful to be in this position.
When we were down 10 and in the huddle, we're looking at each other like, all right, we're going to win this game, so we just got to figure out how. So I think it was just a matter of, everybody locking in. We knew we had to get stops, and we knew we were going to have to, finish at the rim and make free throws. And I think we kind of just bought into that as a team and trusted one another. And Q made a lot of huge plays down the stretch, and it's what a leader does. So I think we just made it happen tonight.
Everybody knew that we've been down before, and last year we wasn't gonna let that moment haunt us again. So I was just thanking God for these guys.
Are you crying?
I was.
I think we all were.
Yeah, big moment.
That's true. Credit to the resiliency and toughness of this team to be able to pull that out in overtime, and I'm just so thankful. Like this has been an amazing experience.
After cutting down the nets in Reno, UND would have to wait until Sunday afternoon and the NCAA selection show to learn their postseason destination and opponents. But while most teams got to see the bracket unveiled from their home courts, UND got to hear their name called as a 15 seed in the West Regional just as their final connection flight home from Reno was taking off in Minneapolis. Not exactly how they drew it up, but still a dream come true nonetheless.
Actually, the plane was about to take off. It actually took off. It was in the air. And like 10 seconds into the air, we found out and everybody started cheering. So that was just a great moment for us.
You almost don't even know how to react, but it's amazing because that's the one thing you've always wanted to do. Like when you're a basketball player, you always want to go play in March Madness. And so I remember in high school I used to watch that, and now I get to play in it. So I think that's awesome.
Just seeing who we're gonna play is it's big time. It's just like we have one more step. And we have one more team to prepare for right now, and they're the one game that we're looking at, and so just getting ready to compete and to win a game.
So Salt Lake City is the March Madness destination for North Dakota, with Pac-12 regular season and tournament champions Arizona the opponents. UND will play the second-seeded Wildcats Thursday night in the fourth and final game of the day at the home of the Utah Jazz, the newly renamed Vivint Smart Home Arena. Tip-off should be between 8:45 and 9 p.m. Central Time on TBS. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Brian Jones and hear what the head coach thinks about all the madness that his team has caused this season and to preview their dates with the Wildcats.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back. Joining us now, the man of the hour, head coach Brian Jones of North Dakota men's basketball, making history this week out in Reno. First Big Sky Conference Tournament championship. First trip to the big dance. Is it starting to sink in right now that this is all happening here this week?
And the only reason why it has because I've done so many interviews with different people. So it's
Sure.
I'm still in La La Land in all honesty. But yeah, it's such a fantastic feeling, so humbling and rewarding, not only for our guys but for our staff.
Yeah, certainly. Congratulations from all of us here at Midco. An incredible accomplishment. Let's take you back, and as tough as this is going to be to break this down sort of game by game, a great 3-game stretch in Reno. You started off with a big win over Portland State, a game in which you guys just shot them off the floor, an incredible performance to get the tournament started on the right foot.
Yeah, that was a concern, just getting out of the gate strong. And I thought, obviously, with a neutral site, we hadn't had a lot of time in that building. We came out and shot the ball. We moved the ball at such a high level. And Portland State is such a dangerous team because of the way they play. They want to play up-tempo. They have a lot of guys that can score the basketball. So I really felt our guys did a great job. A little slow at the end of the first half, but then started the second half, our defense got going again and really did a great job again of making the extra pass for a great shot, not a good shot.
Yeah, taking care of the Vikings in the first round. You move on to Idaho. The hot shooting continued. This was a much more of a back and forth type of a game, though, certainly. Have you seen a game with the kind of runs and the kind of momentum shifts in this? I mean, it was incredible, the type of runs that were going on.
It was. And to me, again, we got out of the gates strong and probably better than the day before, so that was encouraging. But, man, we got some foul trouble. We started turning the ball over a little bit and give Idaho a lot of credit. They came out and ran they executed their offense. They run a lot of quick hitters and a lot of screener stuff to get the big touches. But so, I thought our guys did a nice job. Obviously, we got into halftime and we knew we had to be better that second 20 in order to find a way to win. But again, our guys just continued to persevere. Stretch some moments together in that second half, defensively and offensively. And I think that was the key. I mean, Idaho is such a physical team. There was times in that first half where I thought they wore us out with their physicality.
Yeah, the Idaho team, again, did not hit a field goal in the final 4 minutes of that contest. That defensive effort that really got you the win in the semifinal carried over a bit to the championship game. And I feel like almost that sets you up for success. Having to play that tight game to win it out in the semis really aided you in that championship victory over Weber State.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. We wanted to play Weber. Just that's been the team that's knocked us out every year. But two, we knew we had to defend at a high level, and it's hard to beat somebody 3 times in one season. And Weber had been playing better basketball on a 2 or 3 game winning streak for them, but they were just suddenly they were clicking like the old Weber per se. And we just talked to our guys. They don't give out championships. You're not just going to show up and get one. And obviously there was ebbs and flows of that game, and all the way up to the finish where it was such a nutty finish. I still can't believe how it finished up, but just give our guys a lot of credit. They never stopped believing. They continued to claw and fight and just find ways to make plays.
Yeah, it's down by 10 in that second half, at times down by 6 with just a couple seconds left, really under a minute left.
Yeah.
There was still a pretty big deficit. Incredible effort from your guys and just the heart. All the guys mentioned that after the game. We just believed we were going to find a way, and they were able to pull it out.
Well, they just kept talking about that on the floor and timeouts. It was obviously coaches, but they were leading those conversations. I think that's important when you got the guys who are actually making the plays between the lines, believing that and constantly communicating it. That's where that faith, that's where that confidence continues to build. And it obviously it flowed over to the actual game and the crunch moment. So that's what I said. I'm still in awe, still couldn't be more proud of these guys. It wasn't an easy journey from start to finish, from open up the Big Sky to a 37-point defeat to Portland State to now. If you would have told me we were winning the regular season and the tournament at that time, I would have thought you were still out from New Year's, or New Year's the next night. You're celebrating a little early.
Well, the belief certainly held through. The team progressed all season. You win, again, both of those regular season and conference tournament titles. And as a reward, again, you're playing in the big dance against Arizona, again, a national powerhouse. Just talk about the week that it's been. You find out on the plane you're playing this team. You see your name pop up as a 15 seed. What has this week been like, and how have the preparations been going?
Well, it's been so surreal. You're seeing your logo. You're talked about your school on ESPN, some major websites, some major radios. So that's just like, it's wow. We finally made it. We finally trying to get a chance to play on the biggest stage of the year. That's what we coach for. That's what these kids play for. That's what we go into their homes to recruit for. That's why we were here, and that's what we told our guys. But yeah, it's so gratifying because they put in the work. It's not only for the kids on the roster today. It's the kids who believed in us when we first made the jump to Division I. It was the coaches who's worked here in years past. They're all such a big part of what we're doing right now because we are a family. We've earned this. We haven't taken the easy road, and that's why to me it's been so humbling and gratifying for that. So it's such a special moment. I think we all need to step back and really embrace it, enjoy it. We're still going to prepare the right way and try to find a way to win a game. But this thing is such a special thing, and I've said it many times. I wish Thursday and Friday, which across the country they would take school days off because the first 2 days of March Madness, there's nothing more special than that.
Yeah, it is as good as it gets, and you guys get to be involved with that this year. Again, such a special thing for this university. Last thing for you, again, a chance to really make some history now against a top-ranked Arizona team. What's the mindset? What's the game plan? How do you guys get the job done?
Well, our guys are just loose. We got to stick to who we are. I don't care if it's Arizona or somebody else. We got to be who we are. We got to stick to our staples. We got to go in there with confidence and swagger, and just go in there and be ourselves. I think when you start straying away from that, that's when they start thinking, their feet get slow. This team has been fearless the whole time. That's something they continue to be.
Yeah, well, we're excited to see this team be a part of March Madness coming up on Thursday night. Coach, thanks again for the time. Best of luck in Salt Lake City.
Thank you.
We're going to check in next with the WNIT-bound UND women's basketball team. Travis Brewster joins us in studio. Well, the Big Sky Tournament did not go as hoped for North Dakota women's basketball, but the season's still far from over, and the head coach, Travis Brewster, here to talk about the details. And Coach, first of all, I know crazy week for you. Just found out your opponent in the WNIT last night. Thanks again for taking the time to come in and talk to us this morning.
Well, I appreciate you having us. For our staff, we were in there last night working, and the information came through, and so we're we're kind of on a one big long day right now is what we're doing. But excited for the team, excited for the community and the athletics department here at the University of North Dakota.
Yeah, back to last week, you finished the conference regular season 15-3, again, a great mark for your program. After the dust settled on the first round, you find out your first round matchup is going to be against Portland State in the quarterfinals. Again, a team that you just had seen 6 days earlier. Going into that game, though, you felt good about how this team was playing in your matchup.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was a tough game for us out there. Just to, you know, playing a team that plays a 2-3, it's the last game of the year, you know, you got your bye. And really felt good about that opportunity to play them again. I thought we were ready to do some things a little bit differently, but you got to get shots to fall against the zone, you know, and when you miss one, it gets a little bit tighter, and we just didn't really move the ball as well as I liked at that time. But overall, I thought that, you know, we did do some good things there down the stretch.
Yeah, you mentioned the zone defense. Everybody kind of latches onto that. It's a different scheme. You don't see many teams in the Big Sky playing a 2-3. How much did that affect what you wanted to do offensively?
Well, it didn't really affect us offensively. It was more having the confidence to see the ball go through the hoop against that zone. It's a non-traditional 2-3 as well. They got some wrinkles in it. But it's just having that confidence to see it go in. But, you know, like you and I are talking about, you know, if that ball sticks, the score is going to stick. We didn't move the ball as well as I liked. But, again, you know, it's part of the game. You know, people do different things to give themselves opportunities.
Yeah. Despite some of the struggles on the offensive end, you still led going into the fourth quarter, a great chance to win the ball game. They go on a 10-0 run that gave them momentum and gave them a bit of a cushion. With that said, though, a shot at the end from Michaela Dyer, in and out, and if that goes, you send it to overtime. You feel good about the look you got, certainly in the way the girls finished.
Well, I think we put a lot of pressure on Michaela there down the stretch, you know, to make 6 points in 10 seconds. You know, I liked the looks that we got. I felt, though, that we should have put ourselves in a bit better of a position earlier in the fourth quarter. But anytime you give yourself that opportunity, you got to feel good about it. So, you know, I credit the team for how they were playing down the stretch. It was nice, you know. And one of the things I talked about is that, you know, I have to do a better job of getting us better looks, you know, and that's something that we're got to continue to work on. And obviously, with this next game coming up, it's kind of a biggie.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Portland State does get the 65-62 win to knock UND out at the quarterfinal stage. Here's what senior Leah Zabla had to say after the contest.
Well, they're one of the only teams in our conference who really run like a 2-3 zone, so that is harder for us, and we had to adjust. And down the stretch, they really got into our head a little bit, and we couldn't score against it as easily as we were in the beginning. I mean, I would have loved to have played 3 games here in Reno and get 3 wins, but that obviously didn't happen. So it just comes down to how everything else goes in Reno, and we'll see where we end up there.
Obviously, a tough loss to take, certainly, but at the same time, the season, as we said earlier, not over yet. Montana State wins the Big Sky Tournament. That means you guys get the automatic berth to the WNIT. And just for people to know that this is a big deal. This is a prestigious tournament that you guys are now in and have a great chance to make some noise.
Oh, yeah. You know, we were fortunate enough to play in their preseason tournament a couple of years ago. But, you know, it's a field of 64. It's not an easy tournament to get into. So we're really excited about it. We really are. It's a program first again for us. Obviously, you want to make the NCAAs, but when you can still play in postseason, play in such a prestigious tournament like the WNIT, we're really excited.
Yeah. You find out last night that you're playing South Dakota in your first round matchup. Again, another fun regional rivalry against the team that won this tournament a season ago. The Yotes went on a magical run to win 6 games and lift the trophy. A great opportunity for you guys to head down to Vermillion on Thursday night and see what you can do.
Yeah, it would be neat. I know how to get there from the old NCC days, and obviously now we're going to be Summit League foes, so it's going to be fun. It'll be a good matchup, and you know, they've been playing some good basketball as well down there, so it's going to be one of those ones our fans can identify with, and we'll see where we're at.
Best of luck, Coach, this Thursday against the Yotes and beyond in the WNIT. We'll talk to you about it next week.
Thank you.
Travis Brewster. We will be back in just a moment. We're going to switch from basketball to football. Spring football on the way. It's hard to believe, but only 90 days removed from their final game of the 2016 season, North Dakota football is back on the gridiron. They began their quest to repeat as Big Sky Conference champions officially on March the 3rd, the first of 15 spring practice sessions leading up to the annual spring scrimmage on April the 14th. 2016 Big Sky Coach of the Year Bubba Schweigert returns 9 starters on offense, 6 on defense, and all 3 specialists to a team that went undefeated in conference play and finished 9-3 on the year. 44 letter winners return as well, and that experience and talent should make UND one of the favorites in their final year as full Big Sky participants.
We got a lot of guys coming back. We got a big senior group. It's going to be an emotional ride for all of us heading into our last year. So we all got our expectations are higher than they've ever been before.
You know, we're becoming a more veteran team. That's one thing. We have you know, a number of guys that are you know, been through our league, have been proven, you know, as far as that goes. So I think that's exciting. Now those guys still have to develop and, you know, and stay true to what we're doing and you know, kind of take you know, take their game to another level.
North Dakota's spring ball and fall camp all lead up to the 2017 season opener, a date with Utah in Salt Lake City on August the 31st, a Thursday night game for the second season in a row for the Fighting Hawks. Stick around, we're going to wrap things up here on UND Sports Extra after the break.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
It is a busy week of tournaments around North Dakota athletics, starting with UND women's basketball in the first round of the WNIT. The Fighting Hawks will travel to Vermillion to take on old NCC conference rival South Dakota in their new facility, the Sanford Coyote Sports Center, this Thursday night at 7 p.m. This marks the 4th straight postseason tournament appearance for UND and the 5th in the D1 era. The winner will take on the winner of Iowa and Missouri State. Later that night, UND men's hoops will make history by going dancing in Salt Lake City. UND gets Arizona in a 15-2 matchup in the round of 64. That game follows St. Mary's and DCU and should tip around 8:45 p.m. on TBS. For the record, in NCAA Tournament history, a 15 seed has beaten a 2 seed 8 different times, and it happened as recently as last year. So I'm just saying, it's possible. That's all. Finishing out the weekend, UND men's hockey is in Minneapolis for the NCHC Frozen Face-Off. Bradbury's crew will take on Denver in the semifinals on Friday night at 7:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. UND is 0-3 all-time in NCHC semifinal games, but they are riding a 4-game winning streak, so we'll see if this is the year that it all comes together at the Target Center. That will do it for us this week, but we'll be back next Tuesday night to recap all the highlights and reaction from postseason basketball here on UND Sports Extra. Until then, I'm Alex Heinert. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the madness.